my contract if you want, and you can.
Super happy Dragon Lucky!
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky episode A. It's a new type of series. We have Danny with us. We have a new face, Lawrence. Lawrence Lerner started with us on Monday, and we wanted to allocate some time to Lawrence. So Lawrence is an icon in the blockchain world in Seattle. You are. So everyone who has a little to do with blockchain in the area knows Lorner, Lawrence. Sorry, Ernie.
Either one is fine.
Absolutely. So you're fairly famous in the region. But we would like to ask you. Maybe you can introduce yourself, talk about your history, what you did in the past, how you got here today in Dragonchain.
Awesome. Well, I got here today because they offered me coffee, and this time of morning it's great. Now, thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be part of the team. You know, it's been a long, strange trip of 25 years in the industry. I started as a second-generation internet developer writing code, did that for a lot of years, then ended up running consulting practices for companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers, Cognizant, UST Global, and helping launch a lot of edge technologies. That's kind of always been my thing, is working on technology. Like I said, a second generation internet developer. Helped work on early Discover Card in the credit card industry, and then working on things, launching smartphones for Motorola. We just launched a smartphone into the air.
That was a launch.
Yeah. And that's when I got into cryptocurrency. I actually started in the late 90s working on that first generation of cryptocurrency, which I'm really excited about, DigiCash, eCash, because now, fast forward, and we'll see more of it, David Chaum, who is the founder of those companies, has launched the latest generation of cryptocurrency and blockchain along similar lines as some of the things that we do here at Dragonchain. So that's super exciting with Praxis and Elixir. 2011, exited my last large company and started doing a lot of startup work with blockchain companies, a couple of Bitcoin startups, and then ran a venture fund for the last 2 years. Took some great investments. We had an exit over the summer, and super excited to be here at Dragonchain, an enterprise conceived in enterprise grade blockchain.
Thank you. That's fairly impressive. No.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel very small next to
No.
So, Dragonchain. So you've been here since a couple of days.
Yeah.
So you've experienced your first hands-on action on the blockchain. What do you think of Dragonchain as you know it today?
You know, it's really interesting because I've seen a lot of the blockchains get started up, and you've got a lot of really smart, passionate people in the overall industry. But Dragonchain was the first one that I've seen that's actually was born in the enterprise, born out of the Disney company. And it's taken a lot of interesting things out of being able to run in the enterprise. It reuses enterprise resources, things like Kubernetes. All of the smart contracts, which I think is the most exciting feature, can be written in any modern programming language. So they can be put into a container and run. You could even rerun and reuse Solidity, which is the Ethereum programming language. And all of the different layers, right, it uses a consensus network versus just a single proof algorithm that are in different blocks, and all of those are independent and independently scalable. So I don't want to make this into a long pitch for it, but those are some really interesting enterprise concepts. And in the enterprise world, people are really adopting blockchain because they're seeing the opportunity, especially here in Washington, supply chain, distributed finance. There's really a lot going on. There are going to be some very interesting things happening. Cascadia Innovation Corridor Summit, that's a long title, is the first week of October, and we're going to be talking about how to make the region a leader in supply chain, and of course, blockchain is going to play heavily into that.
Perfect. We're at the right spot. Right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Danny, what do you think?
So what are you most excited about for Dragonchain?
For Dragonchain, I think the opportunity is to get out and do things. We've got so many customers that are coming to us and want to kick the tires. Now is the time to be able to show them how they can take their existing resources and do some really basic things. No one is going all in and saying, hey, we're going to transform the enterprise. But what they are doing is finding very specific use cases that we can run Dragonchain and do things like digital identity, privacy, supply chain, as I mentioned, finance operations that take advantage of things that they need to do and that aren't being done really well today. Even things like property and title transfer. Governments are huge on blockchain, so I see that as a big opportunity for the business.
Nice. Well, what about you personally? What do you like to do in your free time?
Wow, free time, what's that? I do a lot of hiking.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of nonprofits that I spend time with in my faith community, just helping with outreach, ministry. And we've got a big event coming up the second week of October. It'll be at the Armory and Seattle Center. And just loving, I've only been here in the Pacific Northwest for about 6 years. So hiking, walking in our parks and our great neighborhoods and our amazing independent music scene.
Oh, nice. Where were you before Seattle?
I lived in the southwest suburbs of Chicago for about 20 years, maybe even longer than that. Really nice area, but the winters have just gotten brutal. And the winters here are just mild and nice.
There are no winters here.
We have
There are no winters here.
a few of our dragon communities out in Chicago.
Yeah,
Nice. Hi, everybody in Chicago.
Shout out to
I'm sorry it's still humid there.
Perfect. Thank you, Lawrence. I think it was very interesting to have you here on the show and talk to us about you and Dragonchain and blockchain in general.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
How you doing, everybody? Dragonchain family. I am Jim Rocco. I'm a teacher here in Florida. I've been doing it for it's my 19th year teaching. Absolutely love it. I teach mostly students with disabilities, but I'm originally from Long Island, New York. But I transplanted here because I just couldn't do the cold weather anymore. So it's awesome here. One of my friends actually called me up one day. It's about 2 years ago. It was in September. And his name is Jay Bird. He's on Twitter. He's a big Dragonchain follower, and he talks to Joe sometimes, and he's trying to get a book on there or something. But anyway, he called me up, and he said, hey, you got to look into this blockchain stuff and cryptocurrency. And I'm like, crypto who? Blockchain what? I had no clue. So sure enough, I just heard a financial guru guy named James Ramsey saying that you should invest your money. And I'm not a big fan to the stock market, so I'm like, you know what? This is a good time to invest. I'm not earning any money in the bank account, right? There's no interest to be earned there. So I'm like, yeah, sure, let me check it out. And first time going on an exchange obviously was really scary because, what you're doing for the first couple of months, it's just, But that's how I got into it when he called me up and he started talking to me about it. So it's been an adventure. Basically, I just tell my friends it's an online ledger. It's a great way to have super fast transactions between peer-to-peer or to whoever. You just eliminate the middleman. And I just said, you know what? Blockchain is the future. Just like the internet is here now, I can just see it being just as big, if not bigger. So that's how I pretty much start my conversation with them. Same guy, my friend Jay Bird, we call him on Twitter. Big shout out to the Twitter population, by the way. It's awesome on there. Meeting people and talking to people on there. But he said, hey, he calls me up one day, and it's about a month into me being in the space. It's almost like November 1st, and he goes, there's an ICO, and you got to check it out. And he said, yada, 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 and all this, Disney, yada, yada, yada. And I heard Disney. I'm like, what? I live in Florida. I'm a Disney fanatic. I go there all the time. So he said it started at Disney, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, well, what's the one thing Disney does differently than any other theme park? I love theme parks, right? So, well, they pay attention to the detail, right? And everything they do is they give 100% to. So I'm like, well, if this started there, this has got to be something special, right? So sure enough, I started researching online, Dragonchain website, seeing that as a platform, which I thought was great. I always look at circulation supply of the coins. I'm not a big fan of the coins that are in the billions because there's something to be said about supply and demand, right? Scarcity. So I saw there was a good coin supply, and then researched that it was a hybrid token. I'm like, wow, this is a hybrid blockchain. I'm like, this is amazing because businesses want to have some things private, obviously, and show things, other things to the public. I'm like, this is extra special because I'm not seeing this being done with any other companies in the blockchain space. So I thought that was huge. Another reason was the utility behind the coin, the token. I mean, a lot of blockchains have these tokens, but they're really good for nothing. Like, what do you use the token for? At least here you earn time. You can earn dragons, and I'm sure other things as well. But that's a big thing for me too. And I checked out the team, and it was in the United States, which I thought was huge. So I'm like, wow, that's great. And just that everybody on the team checked out great, and it just seemed like it was a legit blockchain company because in the beginning you're just researching, do your own research, right? They say, and you're like looking at this coin and this company, and you're like, what is this? This is just an idea. Well, Dragonchain was actually doing the idea. They had it up and running from pretty much day one, I'm pretty sure. So it was that's what really drew me in. And then I had about a week before I get into the ICO, and I didn't know how, setting up a Mu wallet, my Ether wallet, was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Trying to figure that out. But I did that, got into the ICO, and just been accumulating dragons along the way, and just think it's definitely a special project. And it's I've been researching a lot the last 2 years, and I have not seen anything that even comes close to their blockchain and what they can do and where they're going. I don't see anything. And I've researched a lot, and I really honestly haven't seen anything that great compared to them. Definitely in the medical field, I would think. Just, records, that data that can be sent to other doctors anywhere in the world. Maybe somebody has a special case or a special illness that's very rare, and that information can be obviously secure and justified on the blockchain and sent to somebody else. Just really quick transactions. It shouldn't take 5 days or 7 days to send money from one place to another. I know I've experienced that a lot with trying to transfer money from my savings account to an exchange. So I like the fact that it's instantaneous. I think it's really good. It could change the financial system, obviously. Just data in general with companies. I'm sure companies can save money. It's just, I don't even know what to expect. I mean, it's just the beginning, just like the internet, but I'm sure it's going to be all sorts of ideas. Movies, I'm sure, would probably be on the blockchain and whatnot. And it should be really interesting to see where it goes from here.
It's crazy, JoJo's craziest merch sale ever! Get everything in Dragonchain merch! Get it all out during Crazy JoJo's craziest merch sale ever! JoJo's prices are insane! We are not undersold, we will not be undersold, we cannot be undersold, and we mean it! Get a JoJo shirt, get a Dragonchain sticker, get a hardware wallet, and get a limited edition JoJo while you still can! Go to merch.dragonchain.com. That's merch.dragonchain.com. Merch.dragonchain.com.
Wait. Before you go, Philip has an announcement.
We will have a Kubernetes update at 10 a.m. today, so we will have some downtime of about an hour. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. I
Perfect.
think so, if everything goes
So,
okay.
At 11 a.m., it's going to be way better.
And wait. Czar has another announcement for next week. Bob Weiss The general manager of EKS at AWS will be doing an interview on this show. Stay tuned.